This is the Franchise QB Podcast, where we empower entrepreneurs to win big in franchising. We huddle up weekly to educate our audience about the most successful small business model ever created, franchising.
Welcome to the Franchise QB Podcast. I'm your host, Mike Halpern, a 20-year industry veteran and entrepreneur. My mission is for listeners to achieve their American dreams of creating wealth and independence through franchise ownership. Every week, we speak with franchisees, franchisors, or vendors that support the industry. Thank you for joining us, and let's get started. Joining us in the huddle today is Dustin Miller, founder and owner of the Swing Bays. Welcome to the show, Dustin.
Thanks, Mike. Appreciate you having me today.
Yeah, great to have you. So you're a PGA professional who started a golf lesson program way back in 2001. You taught golf lessons at clubs like Columbine Country Club, Lone Tree, and Black Bear, to name a few. Then, alongside your wife, Brenna, you launched your own golf concept, the Swing Bays, that we're going to talk about today, back in 22. So after 20 years as a teaching pro, you launched a business. So take us way back to the beginning and tell us a little bit about your journey from when you became a teaching pro through the creation of the Swing Bays concept.
Yeah, so, when I went to college, I had two opportunities, either play golf or baseball. I chose the baseball route because I knew I was going to do golf for the rest of my life. A lot of my family's in the golf business. But I go there and, played baseball for a couple of years, then finished up playing golf and then tried to chase golf, on a professional level for 2-3 years. Brenna caddied for me and things like that, my wife. So that was a tough stretch. And I knew that teaching was my passion, and I loved the golf business, and started out as an assistant professional and then went on as a head pro for about 10 years. And then my role was to teach and to play and to create great events. And the thing that I loved about it was being able to help people do something that I love. So for me, teaching's always been a huge passion of mine. And then all of a sudden, I started my own, teaching academies and things like that, and got outside of the, being as a head golf professional, and saw this niche of the indoor scene, not really capitalized at the time. Now you see these places popping up all of the time, it seems like. And my thing is I just wanted to have something that is super service driven. That's going to be something where people get results, and they're going to see results when they come in here into my business. And I wanted to differentiate it. I know we'll talk about that a little bit more today, but I wanted to create something to where people can come in and it has a cool community to it. It has a great feel. People can have this place that they're super proud of. They can wear the gear. They can be proud of what they're doing and all of those types of things. And that's how Swing Bays came about.
Yeah, that's really cool. Appreciate the backstory. And it's really neat when you can take 20 years of experience, some things you probably like, some things you didn't like, and take all those learnings and kind of package that up and take a shot and kind of create your own business. So what is, and we're going to get into the details, but what is the Swing Bays for someone that's not familiar with the concept?
Yeah, so the Swing Bays, I'm based in Parker, Colorado, about 15 minutes south of downtown Denver. And I've got about a 5,500 to 6,000 square foot building where I'm at in more of like a strip mall location. And I have 6 TrackMan bays where I'm at, 1 private bay that I teach out of, and we do, fittings and things like that out of there as well. I have a small bar in here as well where we can serve alcohol. We don't do any food. We're not in like in the foodtainment type of business. It's not what we're doing. Have full club repair, full on equipment for instruction on golf instruction, and then we have everything that we have for club fittings as well. And then we have a full-time fitness guy in here that we do a ton of TPI workouts, just Titleist Performance Institute. So it's kind of your one-stop shop. We've got retail, everything in here, and that's how I wanted to differentiate my facility in regards to a lot of these other ones. It feels like you're a member.
Let's dig into that a little bit because I am curious how yours differentiates from other indoor golf simulation venues. And you touched on a few things, but can you talk about like the golf instruction and the fitness? Like, how is that different than what someone would normally expect in a similar venue?
Yeah, so if they come in here, Swing Bays, where we're at, I teach about 50 to 60 private lessons a week. Those are all pretty much hour lessons. A lot of those are tied in to where we tie them in with the fitness component of it. A lot of those people are coming in, getting a program of an assessment. So if you're coming in, hey, I'm hitting a lot of shots to the right, or my right hip is not, capable of doing this. So then we take you, myself, and then some of my TPI instructors, we'll go into it. We'll build a plan for you. That plan is going to have a clear objective for about 2 weeks is what we do those plans for. After those 2 weeks, we reassess and then we move on to something else and what we keep trying to do. So what it does is it keeps everybody engaged, but it also gives them something to work on. All of a sudden, they're not in a lesson with us, or they're not in a fitness session. They can come in and they can practice their game and look at the numbers off of TrackMan and all of those types of things.
Very cool. So you mentioned a moment ago about a community. So how is Swing Bays kind of creating a community that might be different than what else is on the market?
Yeah, so that's the thing where I take huge value in this and take a big, have a lot of pride in creating that community feel. So some of the things that we do, if somebody joins membership, we want to know about them. We want to know everything about them, just like you're joining a high-end club. So for us, we're going to know what's their glove size, what's their shoe size, what's their birthday, what's their anniversary, what are the things that they like to do. In a lesson, for example, I'm playing, I want to know what your music is. If you're a Van Morrison fan, Van Morrison's going to be playing in your session. So it's giving them that feel of when they're in here, they feel like it's at a home type of a place. So the things that we do community-wise is we have, amazing couples nights. We have all kinds of different types of programs that we do. But the community feel of it is keeping everybody engaged. We want to make certain that when they're in here, that they feel super welcome, and all of a sudden we have club repair and all of that stuff in the back, to where if you need to get your clubs regripped, you get them done in here. If you need to get a new set of clubs, we have a full-time fitter in here. If you need to get your fitness is in here. Instruction is in here. So it's kind of a one-stop shop.
Yeah, that sounds pretty awesome. So you mentioned a little bit ago about technology. Do you have any like proprietary technology that you use to engage with your customers, to kind of interact with that community?
Yeah, so we have, right now we definitely have an app in the work right now that's being worked on, and that's going to have a lot of stuff it's going to have for instruction-wise, communication-wise to a lot of our members and clients that we have throughout the day. But right now, what we do teaching-wise is we use TrackMan software, so we're full TrackMan facility at the moment, and then for a lot of the components of like video software and things like that, we use V1 program, and then we use all of like the V1 plate forces as well, so we can see what they're doing for how much pressure is on their like right foot, left foot, things like that.
Very cool. So you guys get real technical with all the nuance of how to hit a golf ball right. So obviously this is like a B2C model, but do you have corporate events? Do you have things for companies to come in and rent out some space? Is that part of the model?
We do. And I think that's a huge component that, a lot of these places, I don't want to just have it to where, we're getting individuals coming in each and every day. I want it to be a facility where it feels like, man, we can bring a group in here and it feels awesome. Like there's so many things that can happen. So having 6 bays, we can have, 5 to 6 people in each one of those bays, and you can have a ton of things going on. Then you have the bar that we have. People can hang out there. And then I have about a 1,100 square foot putting green here as well. So you can chip and putt, can have those types of things. But we have numerous corporate events that we do. And the way that I like to do them, again, is the programming part of it. Make the programming just awesome. And we just had one last week where we did it as a wedge fit night. So we had this corporate group, had about 100 people in here, Each person came in with whatever wedges that they had. We did a clinic with them on how to gap fit your wedges, talk about what the difference of like the bounce and then the leading edge of a club. And then that night, what happened is we sent home, I think about 120 some wedges that night we sold in this event, where we have somebody in the back custom stamping the back of their wedges, and they're walking out
That's
with
really cool.
3 custom wedges at the end of the night.
Really creative. Awesome. So it sounds like the swing bays is for everybody. Is that correct? Like, could you be any type of golfer, young, old, avid, beginner, and kind of find a place for yourself in the facility?
Absolutely. And that's the I always go back to what my core values are. I want it to be a place that anybody can come, anybody's welcome. It's just we have I think 3 or 4 guys that are right now on 3 that's on the senior tour that practice out of here in the wintertime, which is really cool. And then we have, tons of beginners in here as well. We have mornings with mom, like a mom's drop off program that we have where like 8 ladies will come in, they'll get a little fitness, get some golf, mimosas to go in the morning. So you have those types of events, and then you have your events where, a bunch of buddies want to come out and play in one of our leagues. So it's fun for everybody that comes in here.
Yeah, I was going to ask, so what's the visit frequency? Like, do you find that your community is coming in weekly, multiple times a week, every other week? Like, how sticky is it? How often do they want to be there?
Yeah, so we're busy quite often. We're always pretty busy, but in the later months for us, here in Denver, you look at November on, you're always going to be able to play golf, outside through the winter months, but not every day. But we're busier definitely in the winter months. But right now we're averaging between probably 4 to 7 days per visit. So say if you're a member in here, you're coming in about every 4 days. That's what it looks like. It's what our numbers are showing us right now.
Very cool. And give us a scope of the golf industry. I know it's enormous, but is it $1 billion industry, a $10 billion industry? What's that look like? And how much does the average golfer spend annually on the sport?
Yeah, I mean the golf industry. You look at COVID. COVID just made it absolutely explode even more than what it was. Had the Tiger effect back in the early 2000s, and then kind of hit a little bit of a lull for a while. But then COVID, and it spiked it up even more right now. But that's the thing that you look at, like overall in general, people looking for golf, they're looking to spend money. Like they want to have the best instructors, they want to have the best technology, they want to have the best equipment, they want to have the best apparel. So when it comes to that, golfers are a lot like parents. They're going to spend whatever they need to, just like they would on their kids. Their kids' programs are a ton of money, and it takes a ton of time. With golf, the beauty thing is with swing bays and the indoor facility, it doesn't take you 4 hours to play. You don't have to go out in the heat and play. You don't have to go out in the cold 72 degrees in here all the time. Play 18 holes of golf in less than 2.5 hours. But people are going to pay for they're going to pay for it, and they're going to be proud of what they get out of those things just in the golf world right now.
Yeah, that's a pretty big observation. I know people that have young kids and stuff, it's hard to get away for 4 hours or 5 hours, depending on a weekend round of golf. So having this as an alternative is a really cool thing. So I know there's a big difference between running your independent business and you're an early stage franchisor. You partnered with FranceSmart, a prominent franchise sales organization. Why did you decide to franchise the concept this year? Did you have customers coming up to you and saying, hey, this is really cool? Is it a franchise? Or what sparked your interest in kind of flipping that switch into franchising?
Yeah, it's pretty unique actually. Kind of just in general, swing bays itself, it was something that, I told you earlier that I've been looking to want to do, and just saw this kind of hole. It's just a spot that's really not tapped completely in the way that, that I feel that we're doing it. And so I've taught off of TrackMan, like I said, for 10, 12 years, and was really trying to figure out what the name was going to be of swing bays. And So one night I get an email from TrackMan that says, come swing some clubs at one of your favorite bays. It's like, that's it. It's going to be the swing bays. Grew up a big Arnold Palmer fan, wanted to have a vintage flag on there, and that's how it came about. And at the time, I just wanted to see what this business could become. And I saw how, the success that it's became and things like that. And never really had the mindset really at the time to franchise. I've had numerous groups that have come up to me in the small amount of time that we're open that wanted to buy it just in general. I'm like, man, we might have something here. And then got approached, a mutual friend introduced me to Dan Rowe of Fransmart. And for me, it was like, it just made complete sense. I mean, seeing what he's done in the franchise world and Fransmart, and having somebody believe in the concept that I have, and then having that mutual connection is something that I really feel like I want to take what we have in this community here right now and sprinkle it around, the nation, and then hopefully at some point in time globally, and have this feel everywhere, because I think it's really cool.
Yeah,
I think
that's awesome. And I think you're in real capable hands. I mean, doing this on your own would be a Herculean task. Having professionals that have been there, done it, time tested, it's great. So you can focus on your business and let your partner help you with the development. So how does a franchise owner in your system, how do they generate revenue? What are the revenue streams in the model?
Yeah, so that's one of the things, again, the differentiating model that I believe that Swing Bays is offsetting some of these other places. So I didn't want a place that just come in and you hit balls. Like I don't want to just rely on having to have every bay filled at all time. So what we have is we have a great membership model right now. We have a bunch of members that are paying a monthly membership fee. So those are coming in, and those are for us. Our retention rate on that, we've only lost about less than 4% of people that have signed up from day one. They've all stuck with us here. So the membership model is awesome. We know that money's coming in each and every month. Two is we do club sales. We have the club fittings. So club fittings, that's another part of, hey, we're gonna gain the trust of this client and individual that's coming in. We have club repair. So club repair, you need to get your grips redone, you need a new shaft or things like that. We do that as well. We have a bar. Again, the bar is not a huge thing, and that's not what we bank on, but that's a spot where people just come in and hang out. We have instruction, so we have a ton of teaching going on here as well. And then we have the fitness model as well, so people can come in, utilize it like a gym that's for golf, and those types of things. And then we have apparel. So we do a ton of special orders for apparel, for clothes, for shoes. We have accounts with pretty much all of these companies. And then we have, the other thing I was going back to on the club fittings, we have a ton of fit days in here. So we have accounts with all of the major, companies like that. And we're doing, great business with those types of things. And with our model, we just get to the point now where we're going to stay open 24 hours. We're going to be open our normal time with our, giving customer service and all of those types of things. But on our off times when we're closed, we're going to offer that 24-hour model now where people can come in, the members can come in. It's a different membership tier just because we needed more time, and we need to add to that because it's a huge value for them. And we're getting a bunch of people that are wanting to do that as well.
So how's that work? The members will have a key fob they can use to kind of come in and come and go as they please?
Yeah, it'll be on their phone, and that's the things that are in the works with our app that we're developing at the time. But it'll be on their phone. They can come in if they're a member. They can come in here. They can tap it on one of the doors. They come in. Everything will be set up wise for them when they're in here. They reserve their bay just like they would if we're open. We don't have to staff it at night or anything like that, or early morning. So it's just another revenue source that's going to be taking place.
Yeah, I know that's a big value proposition for the members. I interviewed the CEO of HotWorks yesterday, and same deal. Like they're open 24/7, and members love it. Like they grow membership tremendously just because of the access. And one thing about you guys that I found interesting is you're not trying to be like all things to all people, like a Topgolf where you have this full, food and beverage program, and it becomes this complicated model where you're taking the focus off of the golf. But I did notice something that was kind of cool. You guys do fresh baked chocolate chip cookies. And I want to hear the story behind that. When my sons were coming up in Little League, they went to a private hitting coach, and it was actually, he kind of gutted his basement and turned it into some hitting stations. And his wife would make these fresh baked cookies. And every time we went there, the whole place just smelled amazing. And that's like, my kids are, 16 and 18 now, but they still remember going over to Coach Mick's house and smelling the cookies. So tell me about the fresh baked chocolate chip cookies in your place.
Yeah, it goes back to these sensory feels, right? Like when you come in here, I want you to walk in and want you to can't wait to come in here. Then when you're getting ready to leave, I want you to have that feeling like I can't wait to get back there. And those are the things, the memory part of it. That's what we're trying to create. We're trying to create memories and those things each and every day with everybody that comes through our doors. So being from Colorado, I snowboard. Beaver Creek's one of my favorite places, and Beaver Creek has fresh homemade cookies at 3:00. My kid and I have 2 kids, and it's something they look forward to. They love that. So in here, you look at some of the golf courses, you look like Muirfield, where Jack Nicklaus is at in Ohio. Milkshake is the thing. Out here in Castle Pines Golf Club, it's a milkshake. So we're sitting here for swing bays and thinking, man, we do, not to sound arrogant of what we do, but we do service really well. We do it awesome. And that's one of the things we pride ourselves in. And I wanted to have something else that's a lasting impression when people come in here. And it's one of those things. It's like you walking one of our, employees walking around with fresh baked cookies, every few hours. People look forward to it. They're excited about it. And they're like, man, this is cool. And it gives it a way for, again, our employees, just another way to interact with the members and the clients that we have in here each and every day, and strike up a conversation and those types of things. So again, it's just
that's awesome.
It's one of those memory things.
Very cool. So you mentioned an employee there a moment ago. What does the labor model look like for a franchise owner? Who are they hiring once they go into training, or they're on the other side of training? Who do they need to kind of run a swing-based facility?
Yeah, I mean, first and foremost, somebody that's service oriented. That's key, because again, once you get members and clients that are in here that are trusting you and putting your faith in what you do, it's it makes it nice, because those are easy ways to create sales. And again, it goes back to the Raving Fans book. To creating a raving fan is something that's going to make people want to be in here at all times. But the model for that's really simple. We only have 1 to 2 people that are in here at a time that are working. You don't need any more than 2 people max. So I have a general manager that's in here, and then the rest of them are an hourly type of employee, but they're people that buy into what we do, and they want to, the kids that I have that are coming in are kids that are in like the PGM program, professional golf management program. And they, their goal is to open a swing base at some point in time someday.
So is the general manager different than the PGA teaching pro? Those are 2 different roles.
It can be. It doesn't have to be. For me, mine's somebody that's in a golf management program right now. So again, the cool thing is the old adage of getting in the golf business. You're like, man, you're going to work 1 million hours a week, and you have to do all this type of stuff. And here, that model's completely changed. Like, I want it to be somebody that's geared for golf, that loves golf, that loves service, that wants to be, really service oriented. But it doesn't have to be somebody that's in it just strictly that wants to teach or anything like that. But they need to again learn how to run a business and how to operate a business.
Yeah, you just kind of led into my next question. So, do you have, like a avatar for the ideal candidate to be a franchise owner with swing bays? And kind of the second question on there is, can they be semi-absentee, or do you require that owner to be, in the store all the time?
Yeah, no, it's so you look at, for example, like perfect candidate is going to, again, be somebody that's going to create a space that's going to be service oriented. And then I think they can look at it in 2 ways. I think, I have a bunch of people that I know that are like, man, I would love to open a swing base that are not in golf. but you get the right team around you and put the right team around you, then that works. As long as, again, that they're business oriented and can run a business. We have so many programs and things like that are already in place that when a franchisee takes over another location, they're going to have a roadmap that's already there for them that we're going to create. So it doesn't have to be somebody that's in golf. The cool thing is we're a PGA recognized facility, and we'll be a PGA recognized facility under my umbrella throughout all of these locations that are open. So you have all of these individuals that are applying to get into the golf business. All of these schools now that are creating this these classes it's a PGM program, your professional golf management. So there's a bunch of those kids that are out there that want to get an internship. And they don't all want these internships now at these high-end clubs. A lot of them want to come into an indoor location because these are hot right now. And that's what we're trying to capitalize on. So you don't have to, your owner operator doesn't have to be like me, doesn't have to be a person that's been in golf. They can hire the right people. It makes it really simple for that transition then if they're not in golf.
Yeah, it's also nice having an indoor facility, regardless of the climate. I'm heading into the winter here on the East Coast. You guys are out there in Arizona. It's like, it doesn't matter what the weather's like or what the climate's like. You're in business, which is pretty predictable. So let's talk about getting into the deal. Like, it's a pretty wide range in the item 7 from 226 to 924. And I get it. It's a different size, it could be different size facilities. Different areas have different construction costs, but like, do we have a sweet spot for what we would expect a franchise owner to spend on like FF&E, build out the whole kit and caboodle?
Yeah, and that's one of the things, that what goes back to your other question with Dan and Fransmart, that was with them, they're going to be dealing with all of that type of stuff, right? They're going through looking at all of the locations, like what are, penetration plan of the real estate, where is the hot spots going to be? And then how can we work with, getting more tenant improvement for those franchisees that are looking in there and those building in those spaces. So I can tell you off of, my experience off of where I'm at, of what I've done, opening a business, I'm at about 400 to 415 to open this place. That's with all technology, everything in here. And that number, your ROI number off of that, that number is going to, doing our programs and what we have and pre-selling memberships and things like that, you're going to see a good ROI off of that number. And it's not a place that, where you have some of these facilities that are over $1 million, build outs. Like, man, it's going to take a ton of time to get that money back.
Yeah, exactly. No, at 400,000, give or take, that's going to give a quicker return, and I could see the attract, and it allows owners to scale, so you can find some high caliber multi-unit owners. Exactly. And I know it depends on real estate, but it sounds like Fransmart's going to step up and assist you with site selection, lease negotiation, construction support. Do you have what are we setting expectations from the time they sign on the dotted line on the franchise agreement to when they launch? Is this like a 6 to 12 month process?
Yeah, I think what you should look at there is probably between 4 to 7 months.
Okay, very cool. And are there any item 19 financial performance representations you can share with us today?
Yeah, that's pretty much more on the Fransmart side of it.
Okay.
Those types of things.
Candidate can get the FPD and look at the numbers.
I know where I'm at, like in just the overall sales of what I do, and of those, but yeah, that's going to be more off of the Fransmart stuff on there. Very
cool. So, we've covered a ton of territory today. Like, anything else you want to add to the mix before we wrap up?
No, I'm just, for me, I'm excited to, let people understand what swing base is. And I'm excited to get, franchisees out there. I always tell people like this, like, I love telling the story of what swing base is. Right now, we're at the beginning stages of our book, and I can't wait to have other people along with me to help write this book of what swing base is, and to create something different, like create something from the ground up. Like, and that's where I'm at right now. It's like, the way that I see it and the way that I envision it, of where it's at right now is really cool. And the way that it's really neat. And I can't wait to have others by my side and be by their side as well. And help write this story and let other people get the feel of what swing base is and the feel here in Colorado. Can't wait for people that are traveling around and maybe their home is Atlanta, and all of a sudden they're at swing base in Atlanta and they're traveling to Denver, gives them a little piece of home whenever they're at, that they want to travel and they want to stay by a place that's swing base. And can't wait to have others write that story with me.
Well, it sounds like you're off to a fast start, and congratulations on all your early success. And I wish you a ton of luck with FranSmart and your kind of franchising venture. So if anyone out there listening would like to connect with Dustin to learn more about the Swing Base franchise and how to become an owner, contact me at franchiseqb.com or on X at QBFranchiseQB. I'll get you guys connected. Thank you so much, Dustin, for taking the time to get in the huddle and discuss the Swing Base with us today.
Thank you, Mike. Thanks for all of you that listened today, and hopefully you learned a little bit more about swing base today.
Awesome. Thank you for listening to the Franchise QB podcast, where you're at the helm of your future as a franchise owner. If you enjoyed the content, please rate the show and recommend it to anyone that might be interested in franchising. Make sure to visit franchiseqb.com to subscribe to my newsletter and for an actionable playbook to go from walk-on to legend in your new business. Follow us on Twitter at QBFranchiseQB and join us every week for a new episode. See you next time.
Visit franchiseqb.com to take the next step of your journey towards wealth, independence, and franchise ownership. And remember, when working for the man gets old, you must do something bold. Thank you for listening.